When I look in the mirror, there's a man that I see who's been searching a lifetime for a way to be free, never knowing the darkness that was following me like a mutating virus, one that I couldn't see. And I breathed you in, and I fell again. I can see the end. Here I am now, I transcend. I want you to know I see who you are, and I'm letting go. You were everywhere, in my everything. I don't need you now. I was searching for answers, they were there all the time, but I just couldn't see them. In my heart I was blind. I believed in your story, now I know it wasn't true. And I see who I am now, and I know what to do. And I'm breathing in, and I'll start again. I want you to know I see who you are, and I'm letting go. You were everywhere, in my everything. I don't need you now. Just turn around and go. I can't do this anymore. I want you to know I see who you are, and I'm letting go. You were everywhere, in my everything. I don't need you now. I want you to know that I let you go. I want you to know I see who you are, and I'm letting go. You were everywhere, in my everything. I don't need you now. I want you to know I see who you are, and I'm letting go. I want you to know.
Hello, everyone. Just give us 2 more minutes. I'm going to give that song another go around. Just experiencing a couple of technical difficulties. So be patient. Thank you so much, and we'll be with you shortly. All righty. Hello. Greetings, people of planet Earth. I trust you all are doing amazing tonight or wherever you are. If you're in the US, it's probably in the morning. Thank you for your patience. We're going to get started here shortly. But before we do, as always, I would love to know where you guys are calling in from. So awesome. Here knows the deal. Sweden in the house. Good morning from Florida. Awesome. Welcome everybody that's coming in. We're live streaming. Are we on where are we at? Will, are we on TikTok? Yeah or no? YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook. Awesome. And I would love to see y'all's beautiful faces. As you can hear, I got the little y'all. I'm from Texas. We're out here in the Philippines, Davao City. Yes. Let me make you co-host really quick. Where's Will? Okay, awesome. Let's hear where you guys are coming in from. We got Atlanta, Georgia in the house. Beautiful, beautiful. Good morning, everybody. Rich Rising, Divine Rising. Awesome. So we're actually recording now. Awesome. Boise, Idaho in his house. Okay, no worries. If you can't turn on the video, it's not a requirement. I just want to see y'all's beautiful faces. Toronto. Awesome. Cool. Well, as you guys are coming in, just drop down where you're calling in from. I'm gonna get started here in just a second to give you guys maybe one more minute. I hope y'all are having an amazing start to the morning or end to the evening or an amazing afternoon, no matter where you're at, because we're all over right now. We're in 6 of the 7 continents. Soon, the 7th one, Antarctica. California, beautiful, beautiful. Awesome, Nevada. Good to see you guys. Sherry, Michael, Dalton. I can't see everybody because it's just, we are at now 28 people on Zoom. We got the live stream going on Facebook. So yeah, I'll get started now. We got Missouri going. Missouri in the house. So we were just actually at the Incomation office here in Davao City, and Jamie and I actually just literally knocked out 5 videos, and we rushed over here to make it to the live stream. We're just going back to back to back. And the funny thing is like I've been a part of a lot of different things, and literally those 5 videos that we knocked out, it only took us 1 take each, because we're not running off of a script nor a program. We're literally just sharing authentically from our hearts. So the one thing here at Incomation that you need to have, it's a requirement, is an open mind and an open heart. Because what we're going to tell you guys is literally the absolute truth as we know it. And it just requires you to be open to receiving that. And as we say, like you might get a little bit pissed off, but at the end of the day, like, it's going to set you free so you can actually move forward, step into the greatest version of yourself, find true freedom, whether it's financially or within. And the main thing here is actually having that freedom within. But obviously, this finance is a pretty big deal for a lot of people, because if you're surviving and you're not able to actually feed your family, it's kind of a big deal. So we help you on both levels. So it's interesting because as we've been building this, we've been here every single night. Some of you have been here every single night, which is awesome. Congratulations. That means you actually want to know the truth, and you actually want to be a part of something real. And it's interesting because a lot of the times in the past when I was building all of these different companies, which were nowhere near what we're building here. A lot of them were like the quick, let me make a quick buck. And there was so many people pouring in. And here at Incomation, we understand that this is not for everybody. Not everybody wants to be a part of this, and that's okay. We're not really looking for everyone. We're looking for the select few that are actually about creating something different, unique, and this actually has a deeper purpose. So if you're excited to create something that's not just going to be here for 3-6 months, 12 months, something that's going to be here for years to come, generations to come, I want to know that you're excited. So if you go in the chat, put 111 if you're excited to build something that's real, that's long lasting, that's actually going to change your future and literally as we know it and as we're creating right now of the world. So if you want to be a part of that, hit 111 in the chat below. And this would not be possible if it weren't for the courage, the honesty, the compassion of our CEO, Mr. Jamie. He's one of the most amazing people that I've got the pleasure to meet. It's literally only been like, I don't know. I mean, I've known him for a couple of years, but getting to know him how long has it been, man? I got here like January the 2nd, but it feels like lifetimes now. Literally, like we've become like brothers and literally hanging out every single day, working out, doing these live streams. I wouldn't trade it for the world. And so I just want to say, like, if you are here and you have the chance to work with us and work with Jamie, work with Will, work with any of the leadership team, you're extremely blessed. And it also shows the level that you are personally playing on. So without a further ado, I just want to welcome and bring on our CEO, Mr. Jamie Devine.
Hello, beautiful people. Well, we got a couple in the waiting room there. Welcome to the call, everyone. I'm wearing my fancy video suit. As Sam said, we just got back from the office. We were actually intending to have the live stream from there tonight, but some tech difficulties. We had to rush back to our home here and make it happen for all of you. So we did make 5 truth bomb videos that I told Sam, I don't even think we need to do anything else. I think we're done for the year because there's so much. It's such a fire hose of information and truth in those that you'll soon see to come out. But hey, we're here every day because every day is different, and we're just here to share the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me. So in our first round, we launched last April, and we had some major hiccups with prop firm companies, aka scams. Put a 1 in the chat if you have been scammed by the Forex and crypto industry. Crypto pump and dumps, Ponzi schemes, guaranteed 3% per day that lasts 90 hours. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I'm seeing all the ones. And really, those of you that are here with us now are the true pioneers. We told our first group that came in the system that everyone's a pioneer. And after a few months, we started to really see that not everyone's a pioneer, because not everyone is willing to face the truth, and not everyone has pure intentions, including many of the people that were first attracted to our system because it was just a financial play for them, that they could just make large commissions from their communities. And I've been speaking about that the last few nights, days for those of you in America. And we're going to continue shedding light on that entire industry because I've been a part of it. I mean, almost 20 years I've been in the online marketing space now. That's crazy. And almost 10 years in the financial space. And I'm about to bring out my friend Josh here in a few minutes that he can also attest to 9 years or so in the financial space. And the unique thing about Josh is he did half of that in the retail space and half of it in the institutional world. You know, the actual legitimate systems, because they're monopolies and the hedge funds and banks run them and keep them for themselves because they don't care to share it with the average everyday person. And so we're just really sick of seeing everyone get scammed. And we're really sick to see leaders who we thought they were friends of ours over the years, you know, the top names in the industry, that every month they're promoting a new pump and dump. Like, seriously. What's the old saying? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Well, many of you can fall in the category of shame on me because you keep repeating these same programs that get rug pulled, that are clearly Ponzi's, that are clearly scams. And you not only continue to put your own money in it, but even worse, you continue to promote it to your entire world. Like the ripple effect of that negativity. So we're really building a safe haven here that, number one, we want true leaders that are willing to step up for a mission that actually helps people, that are sick and tired of putting their money, time, energy, names, and reputations on the line just to every single month or two repeat the cycle, repeat the cycle, repeat the cycle. And then there's those of you that are just investors, right? Like you don't share it with anyone. You just see how it goes. Well, how many times do you need to get your money taken to wake up and realize and want something legitimate? And I know if you're on this call, that's you. And unfortunately, there's thousands of people in our community that ran away when we started sharing the truth. When we started exposing these scams in this entire industry, that's when many leaders ran away, took their communities to the next pump and dump. And so we have an absolute solid foundation now of legitimate systems and people that actually care. And let me tell you, that's quite the filtering process. So we're going to get into a few of the major pieces today. Number one is the Forex Fund. That's the very first bridge that we created to bring the institutional legit world to the retail, the average person that, like you, sick of getting screwed over. I called up Josh a few months ago. I said, man, because I had actually taken and many of you may not even know this, but I took about 3 years off of the industry when I met my mentor, Don, back in April 2020. I went through his program, and up until then, like I said, I'd only done marketing and financial programs. And that woke me up to the truth of this industry, and I was sick of seeing people get hurt. And at the time, I didn't have any solutions of for myself in the financial realm. thought I need to help everyone with this process that Don has. So I took 3 years off and helped build a community around that, and many just absolute magical stories that we'll share later on in this call that truly changed their lives. And then we got to the point where it was like there was many people that were experiencing this absolute freedom in other realms, but then they couldn't figure the financial part out because everyone in the financial world was just screwing them over. So that's when the idea of consciousness and currency came to be. And I thought, hey, Don, I've seen everything in the financial world. I'll work on that side. You've mastered consciousness, no doubt. You handle that. And so our communities have now merged and come together as one, which is absolutely beautiful, to create a financial system with people that aren't in it just for the money. Imagine that. That we can actually be free on all levels. So the Forex fund with Josh, when I called him a few months ago, sick of everything, but wanting to create something. We had just had a few months of experience with prop firms, and we never intended to build that out as a community either. The prop firm I saw as an idea with Don. I thought, hey man, we could grab a few of these. I know the legitimate trading system that could actually create some passive income for these prop firms. And we gave it a shot and thought, well, that will just take care of the financial aspect and we can just do what we do, helping people. And of course, come to find out at the highest levels, the prop firms were complete shams. So that's when I called Josh. I said, Josh, man, we really need to bring the institutional world here, because I knew prop firms were legitimate, but come to find out, only the institutional ones were. And all of the retail prop firms were just like every other retail trading bot and retail PAM scam and all of that. And I thought, Josh, how can we bring this institutional to the retail? And he said, well, I got this guy Yako, and Yako has 7 years of trading history. I've been working with him for a few years, helping all of our rich clients get richer. And we started putting the pieces together. Okay, Yako needs $250,000 minimum deposit. Well, Josh, what about if we put that up? Can we talk to Yako, and would Yako be open to the idea of he just trades our master account, but we have unlimited sub accounts for the average person that only has maybe $500 as a minimum can be a part of it, so they actually have somewhere legitimate to put their funds. And luckily Yako agreed, and for the last few months we've been putting that all together and it's ready to go. So Josh, if you're on the call, I'd love you to share from your side and perspective of the whole retail versus institutional world and how Yako came to be and where we're at with that. Is Josh on?
Can you hear me?
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay, so yeah, as always, lots of familiar faces on the call, but a ton of new faces as well. Jamie, thanks for the introduction. And for the new individuals on the call, I'll give you a brief background of myself and then how all this came together. And of course, we'll dive into the actual trading fund and strategies that we are all using and sharing today. So myself, I've been a full-time entrepreneur now for about a decade. And I first got started in the industry with various health and wellness products, drop shipping, etc. And then about 2016, 2017, I first got my first exposure to the financial industry. And to me, I simply just seen how lucrative it was and how much money there was to be made in this industry. So I knew that that was the industry that I needed to make my home and plant my flag. So I did that in 2017. And behind the scenes, and what I didn't know is the amount of trials and tribulations I would go through in this industry to actually get where I am today. So on my journey, as Jamie briefly mentioned, I have both retail experience and institution experience. So I first started out in the retail space, and this journey lasted from 2017 until 2019. So a bit on that journey and experience. The majority of the programs that I built and opportunities, companies, etc., was actually with Jamie. And we traveled all around the world during this time, specifically in Asia, focused in Asia. And we built businesses of thousands and thousands of people. We hosted conferences of thousands of people, from hotel rooms to living room meetings. And why I highlight this and why I bring this up is because we spent a ton of time, energy, and money in this field building these different companies, etc. And then the main point that I'm getting to, and the main hurdle, if you will, that Jamie and myself kept running into in the retail space during this time is, like I said, we had spent all this time, energy, money building these different companies. And what would happen is either the owners of the company and the corporate staff would have disputes, arguments, and that would completely cause the company to collapse overnight. Or we were giving these wonderful retail trading products and promise wonderful returns, best products in the world. And then Jamie and I would go test these products with our own money. 1, 2, 3 months later, that money's gone and the company's also collapsed. So my point of all of that is that I simply got tired of chasing my tail in circles in the retail industry, spending all my time, money, and most importantly, my name and reputation just to have other evil individuals dictate where the company goes, but more specifically, our future and our business would just collapse overnight. So, like I said, I was tired of chasing my tail in circles, and that was when I knew I needed to transition into something else, just because it was not a steady graph up in this industry. It was a huge graph up with a massive crash down. So in 2019, with the connections and contacts that I made while I was building these different retail companies, I made contacts into the institutional world. And this included various hedge funds around the world, various fund managers, traders, etc. So I used those contacts to transition into the institutional world. And the institutional world, that's been my main focus since 2019. And with the institutional world, why there's many reasons, obviously, why it's drastically different than the retail world. But the biggest difference for me shifting the marketing was that the minimum investment on the institution side that our various funds and traders that we are working with and marketing for, the minimum deposit size they would accept was $250,000. So now transitioning where we are today. So about 6 months ago, Jamie called me up and he gave me the full story that Incomation, and I'm sure most of you guys went through with the prop firms, which, as everybody now knows, all prop firms are scams, just like everything else in the retail space. But why Jamie called me up is because he was also sick and tired of chasing his tail in circles, and likewise with the community. And he wanted to bring our institutional strategies specifically to you guys and the Incomation community. So I was all in with the idea because, like I said, I started in the retail space. And then as well, when Jamie called me up, like I said, I was open to the idea, but there was many hurdles to get over to actually bring this to fruition to make it all happen. So the first hurdle we had to get over is, like I said, the minimum deposit size was $250,000, which of course in the retail world, average deposit size is anywhere from $500 to $5,000, which is nowhere near the $250,000. So the solution that we came up for that is we will be onboarding all clients' capital to what is called a PAM account. And with the PAM account, let's say a client comes in with $500 and then another client comes in with 50,000, 100,000, doesn't matter the deposit size, they're all going to go into this one account. So why I'm highlighting this account is because that is how we are able to come up with the solution for the minimum deposit of $250,000. Because on our side, we got this account that we're talking about to the base of 250,000 to allow our strategies to successfully trade. And because we have that base in the PAM account of 250,000, that now allows us to accept any deposit above $500. So that's a brief overview of myself and how this all came together. And then I'll also share some info now on our actual fund manager and the traders and who they are and what they're doing behind the scenes and what's actually going to be trading this specific amount of capital. So our main fund manager, I met him, like I said, in about 2019 when I transitioned. So I've known this and been working with this individual now for about 3-4 years. And this individual, he has a lengthy track record in this industry. So he's been a trader now himself, full-time trader for over 20 years. And he, prior to leaving the traditional corporate hedge fund world to create his own fund and operation, the last fund he was working at is called the Cargo Fund. And the Cargo Fund is one of the biggest hedge funds in Canada. And our main trader and fund manager at the Cargo Fund, he was responsible for managing a book value of $40 billion. So he was actually trading and managing $40 billion. And then as well, when he left the Cargo Fund and the traditional finance world, again, to do his own thing, he brought his entire team with him, and his entire team will also be working on these accounts of ours for you guys. And his team, it consists of over 15 different individuals. And this includes fund managers, market analysis, traders, but most importantly, mathematicians and engineers. So why I highlight the mathematicians and engineers is because, again, going back to the retail space, from everything we've seen, what I can say about the retail space and the various trading programs, but more specifically, the various algorithms, AI bots, etc., I can almost guarantee you, I'm willing to bet money and put money on the line if you can actually find a real profitable trading strategy in the retail space. But my point of this is that the majority of retail programs, specifically bots and trading programs, is either one, they're coded in a kid's or in a mom's basement by a kid. They're either bought on eBay, bought on the internet, rented on the internet, or I mean, we live in a world now where you can even code these type of robots on ChatGPT. So the comparison of the retail technology, again, to the institutional, like I said, our engineers and mathematicians, they built our entire system in-house. So again, it's not like we rented or bought them on the internet. Our entire systems are built in-house. And this costed our fund manager and his team over $20 million to build this technology. So that's a bit of the team and the softwares they're using and how they created it, etc. And then to dive into the actual strategies and statistics. So our strategy, it is, again, compared to the retail space. In the retail space, the majority, again, I would say 99% of the strategies are either martingale strategies and or cost averaging strategies. If you don't know what these two strategies are, I encourage you to go research them and look it up. But in the most simple terms, what I can say about those two types of strategies is you have a better chance of making money going to the casino. So with this specific strategy and our strategy, it is what is called a trend following strategy. So if the market's going up, we're simply going to buy. If the market's going down, we're simply going to sell. And then the main asset classes that we trade in, and it's the only asset classes that we trade in, are the Euro, USD, JPY, and lastly, the Euro JPY. And why I highlight these three currency pairs is because one, they're the most liquid currency pairs in the entire world, which means that the volatility isn't like some crazy exotic currency pair like the South African dollar or whatever the example may be. So that's why I highlight the currency pairs that we're trading. And then statistics of the strategy. So our biggest statistic that we can highlight the most and put our most confidence in is that we have 7 years of tracked verified data. So in this 7 years of tracked data, we have never had a losing year. We do have losing months, which is expected. You can't win every single month. And when we do have those losing months, we always come back to be in the plus for the year. Again, have never had a losing year in the 7 years of tracked data. And then for that 7 years of tracked data, we are averaging roughly, or to be exact, 64% a year. And that is about 5% a month. And then to achieve that 64% a year average, the max drawdown and the max risk ever on the account to achieve that was 14%. And that 14% drawdown occurred in 2018. And then typically the average drawdown, again, for that 64% a year, typically and averagely stays under 10%. So that is the statistics of the strategy and our fund manager. But before I go on to the next point, so we know that this is a retail community and you guys are retail investors. So $250,000 minimum deposit, 64% a year, that's fantastic returns. But we understand that you guys will be coming in with $500, $5,000, and 64% a year is still absolutely fantastic. You're beating the hedge funds, banks, and your traditional financial markets, but we know that you guys are still looking for those greater and wonderful returns. So what we're going to do for this specific PAM that we're talking about today is we're going to double up our strategy. So what that means is we will be targeting about 100 to 120% a year, which will be an average, you could call it about 8 to 11% a month. And then obviously we're doubling up the ROI. That also means we're doubling up the risk. So the average drawdown to achieve the 100 to 120% a year will be average drawdown staying under 20% instead of the conservative strategy, average drawdown staying under 10%. So that's it for the statistics. And now for most importantly, the investor transparency. So as mentioned, Jamie and I, we really just put this together to bring a real change to the retail market. So because of that, we wanted to build this model to be 110% transparent as we possibly could. So the transparent points, the first one is that we always, for this FX fund, we always wanted you guys to be in 110% full control of your capital and be able to dictate your capital and what you do with it at all times. So with the PAM, you guys will be the only ones able to deposit and withdraw. All we can do on the account is trade and trade only. We never ever have access to your capital. Again, that's in your possession at all times. And then we also didn't want to leave any of the trading closed behind and leave you guys in the dark. So what we did for that is we've set up various third-party tracking companies. And with these various third-party tracking companies, you guys will, one, be able to watch your trades live 24/7, whether that be open trades, closed trades, profit, loss. You guys will be able to see everything live 24/7. And then, of course, you'll also be able to see the drawdown that is open on the account at any given moment in time as well. And then lastly, for the transparency side of things, how we get paid, we also want it to be as transparent and upfront as possible with that as well. So on our side, we charge 0 management fees, 0 hidden fees, and 0 upfront fees. And this is a 100% profit share based model. So what that means is that, let's say that we put on a losing month, we, one, are not going to charge profit share because the month was red. And also, we're not going to charge profit share again until that loss is fully recovered. So we operate on a 100% profit share model, and we operate on a high watermark level. So what this means is this has allowed us to align ourselves with the best interest of the clients. And if you guys aren't getting paid with this opportunity, we also do not get paid. And that's exactly how we wanted to design it, again, in alignment with the best interest of our clients. So yeah, that's a very, very brief overview of myself, our FX fund, the manager, and our strategies. And then just to close it off, like Jamie said, he's been in this space now for 7-8 years. I've been in this space now for about the same amount of time. And like I told you guys, the retail space is where I started. And that's really where my heart is. And the reason being is that when I transitioned into the institutional world, at the end of the day, I was just helping helping rich people get richer. Sure, we made a lot of money and it was a great time, but like I said, the retail space is where my heart is, and that's because it simply allows us to help the small guy and the small investor, which in this space, which we've been highlighting so much, is 99.9% of stuff in the retail space is all a scam. So we understand that you guys are literally getting screwed every way possible. And that's why we think this is such a big market opportunity for everyone involved, just because we truly believe that we are the first ones to actually bridge the institutional world to the retail world. So I'm super excited. And Jamie, thanks for having me here and putting this opportunity together. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thank you, Josh. Appreciate you as always. So just to recap, for the Forex fund, $500 minimum deposit. It's a 50-50, so it's a 50% performance fee. Out of that, 25% goes to Yako and his team. The other 25% goes to our system. And out of the 25%, we pay 30% of it to our affiliate partners. And the partner program is absolutely free. So moving on, shifting gears to the crypto fund. For those of you who haven't met Josh yet, he has a really unique experience in crypto. I watched it firsthand, what he was going through, and it was super exciting for sure. And again, just going back to 99.9%, and that's being nice, in the Forex and crypto space are absolute scams, Ponzi's, and pump and dumps. So Rain just clarifies. So yes, the annual goals for the Forex fund are 100 to 120% for the year. And as Josh mentioned, we'll only be taking our split on the profit. So it's a 50% performance fee. So everyone can get their share. So especially in the crypto space, I mean, it's been wild, wild west for the last few years. Where Josh and his team are geniuses at is narrowing down the actual legitimate projects. So back in 2021, when he did his absolutely amazing return of over 8,000%, that's 80x on the money, became a millionaire at the age of 22. It was really just a couple projects that I'll get him to highlight. And again, like in the world of come today, gone tomorrow, really hard if you're in the retail space. You don't have a whole lot of experience. You don't have you don't have the teams of researchers and everything, all those resources behind you like the institutions do. And real tough to discern what's a legitimate project or not. So Josh has been sharing a lot of that with our community. We've been doing crypto mastery calls with him. But the crypto fund is a really exciting opportunity because essentially we found a way that, again, we could open it up to everyone, minimum $500 deposit, and let Josh and his team pick those few legitimate winners, and we all benefit from the same percentage return. So the target for the crypto fund is 1,000%, even though 2021 he did about 8,000, just over 8,000. Josh, you want to share a little deeper on that story with how that came to be and what we're looking to do there?
So as mentioned to you guys in the previous story, my first exposure to the financial space was in 2016, 2017, and that was actually the cryptocurrency space. I bought at the very top of the bull market at that specific moment in time, just because as an absolute newbie in the space and knew absolutely nothing about it. But being me, I didn't get discouraged. I just really seen it for what it is. The amount of ROI that was being printed a day was ridiculous and out of this world. So instead of giving up and running away, I did the opposite. I dove head deep into the space and just simply started researching as much as I possibly could. So what really caught my eye and attention about the space was when I started to research Bitcoin, why Bitcoin was created, etc. Me being as well always kind of anti-establishment and against the typical narrative of what they push to the average Joe. So Bitcoin was what caught my interest. But then after I learned about Bitcoin, I dove into the altcoin space simply because altcoins have a much greater ROI potential compared to Bitcoin. So to me, when I first started investing, I'm not the type of individual who wants to invest in pump and dump projects, which crypto, there's a good percentage of projects is all pump and dump BS. On my side, I wanted to invest in real use case utility projects that actually offer value to the world, because when I invest in stuff like that, I could care less about the day-to-day price action. All that matters to me when I invest in projects like that is the end goal and the end vision of the target ROI and price of these specific projects. So from 2017 until 2019, I invested literally every spare dollar I had into the crypto markets, specifically altcoins. And then my two greatest projects and my greatest successes during that time, which I cashed out in 2021, were VeChain. My average buy price for this one was half a penny. And then my average sell price for this one was between 20 cents and 25 cents. And then my other best project that I got involved with was Matic Polygon. My average buy price for this one was 2 cents. And then my average sell price for this one was between $2 and $2.50. So the total ROI across the board that I achieved from roughly 2018 to 2021 was a total ROI of 8,000%. Sounds absolutely ridiculous, I agree, but that's what can happen in the crypto space. So 2021, we fully cashed out and exited the space because we are predicting a bear market to come, and we were correct. And then last year, 2023, we started to see signs in the markets again that a bull market was going to occur in 2024 now and 2025. So at the end of last year, we opened up our crypto fund, my partners and I. At the beginning, it was just for friends and family only. We didn't want to deal with any outside headaches. But of course, Jamie being Jamie, he called me up and wanted to open this up to the public, to you guys, the Incomation community. So I was open to the idea, but my main concern was the legal side of things and how we are going to set this up operationally, etc. So the good news is Jamie got all those specific things covered and ready to go. And lastly, on who the fund is open to, outside of my friends and family, if an outsider comes in not from Incomation community, we simply won't be accepting it. So my point is, outside of our friends and family, this fund is only open to the Incomation community. And then why we are predicting a bull run this year and perhaps into 2025 is for multiple bullish thesis points that our market research team has put together. And the first bullish thesis point is, first and foremost, the Bitcoin ETF, which we're anticipating all of Q4 last year, and it just got approved last week, all 9 Bitcoin ETFs. And if you're familiar what an ETF is, all that means is that it has opened the door to Wall Street and institutional money to get involved in the crypto space, which we're predicting that this is going to inflow billions, if not trillions of dollars of new capital to the crypto space. So that bullish thesis point recently just got checked off. The next bullish thesis point is coming up in April of this year. And that is an event is happening in April, which is called Bitcoin halving. If you're not familiar with Bitcoin halving, again, I suggest you to go research it. But what I can say in simple terms is that since the creation of Bitcoin in 2008, every 4 years, Bitcoin goes through this cycle, again, which is called Bitcoin halving. And looking back in history, every time Bitcoin halves, 1 year later, following the halving, Bitcoin is at an all-time high in price. So if history repeats, that means April of this year's Bitcoin halving, which again, history repeats, that would mean April 2025 will be at an all-time high for Bitcoin in price. And then the third bullish thesis point is, again, our team is predicting that this year, in specifically America and probably all Western nations, G7 countries, they are going to start, the Federal Reserve and all banks are going to start to lower interest rates. If they start to lower interest rates, what's that mean? That means that an absurd amount of cash is going to be pumped into every single asset class, including the stock market, including the real estate market, but most importantly, including the crypto market. And then our last bullish thesis point is in November of this year is the US presidential elections. And again, if you look back in history, what happens every single presidential elections? They absolutely love to pump all asset classes to make the current sitting president look like a king and add to his presidential campaign. So those are our four bullish thesis points of why we are predicting a bull run this year and perhaps going into 2025. And then the expectations for our crypto fund. So one, we use zero leverage trading, not interested in it. We can achieve crazy ROIs without leverage trading. But more specifically, we don't use leverage trading because we're not into losing all of our capital and the broker taking it because we made a bad trade. So zero leverage trading, it's 100% spot trading. So what that means is even if the altcoin that we get into, it goes against us for a various period of time, it's virtually impossible to lose all the capital because again, we're not using leverage. And then the second thing is we invest in zero pump and dump BS companies, no meme coins, no BS coins. It's all real world use case utility projects. So for this run, our top niches of investment of which we're currently in and will be adding to is the top sector that we're interested in is gaming projects. And the second sector is AI projects, artificial intelligence projects. And then the last one is projects that incorporate the blockchain and the blockchain technology to the real world. So that's our three sectors of focus for investment. And then the average hold time and cash out. So unlike the FX fund, with the FX fund, you guys can cash out monthly, every 2 months, 6 months, 12 months. That's entirely up to you guys. But with the crypto fund, it's not a day-to-day trading like the FX fund. It's a long-term hold. So the hold time that we're looking for and targeting is anywhere from 12 to 18 months, more specifically November of this year till May of 2025. So that is how long the fund will be operating for and the capital will be on lock for. And then on our side, again, unlike the FX fund, we're not charging profit share monthly. For the crypto fund, we're only going to charge profit share once. And this will be at the very end when we're 100% out of every single position and back in US dollar. We'll charge the one-time profit share, and then your capital will also be available for withdrawal. Then again, we're aiming for this release to be around November to May of next year if all goes according to plan. And then lastly, again, if all of our bullish thesis points add up, is that we are targeting a minimum ROI across the entire portfolio to be 1000% during this period of time. So yeah, that's the crypto fund. I think I covered everything there, but again, super excited opportunity. But it's also important to note what I close off with, that this specific fund will not be open forever like the crypto fund. So there's currently super key levels on the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency charts that we're watching. And there's 3 phases of the bull run. Right now, we are leaning towards the size. We're in phase 2 of the bull run. Phase 3 of the bull run is where you get the parabolic gains. So my point of that is once we enter phase 3 of the bull run, this crypto fund will be closed forever. And phase 3 of the bull run, we are claiming this will happen once Bitcoin holds and stays above 52K. So once we are above that 52K level, again, the fund will be closed forever. And I mean, that could happen next week, that could happen 2 months from now. But yeah, just to put it in perspective of timeline, how long it's open for, and our everything total in there. So yeah, back to you, Jamie.
Okay, awesome, Josh. Thank you for being so thorough as always. So to recap on the crypto fund, We don't know how long we can keep it open for. Might be a couple weeks. As soon as Bitcoin hits 52K and holds, we're gonna close that up. So super easy to get involved with either the Forex fund or the crypto fund. All the information and the step-by-step guides are in the membership portal. So the best thing to do, get the link from the person that referred you to the call. We're doing everything through our partners. So they'll have a link. It will send you to our website and you can register for the membership, which right now we've included for free. We can't do that forever. That's only till February 1st. So sign up for the membership. Inside there, you'll find the categories: Forex fund, step-by-step how to get in that, and the crypto fund. The last thing you're going to get, which to me and many of us that are here is the most important part, and that's the program with our mentor, Don Smith. There's absolutely nothing that can be compared to it. I have done 15 years of personal development, all the traditional programs, the Tony Robbins, the Harv Ekers, the Abraham Hicks. I mean, the spiritual awakenings and the shaman retreats and the like, it goes on and on. It was hundreds of thousands of dollars that I was on this search for, no matter how much money I made, or no matter how many mentors, coaches, seminars, where's that fly, that I went through, and how much personal development I did. It was still there. The void was still there. The toxic cycle and patterns were still there. And it wasn't until I met Don and went through his program, April 2020, that was all released. And there's no way that we can put it in words. We've attempted to, night after night, to twist your arm so that you would get the call and get into the membership portal, which again is free, and find his program under I Am Divinity. It's an hour and a half, doesn't take a long time, literally as long as this call. And you can experience what we're talking about, because I'm pretty sure that it sounds like Chinese, no matter how we explain it. Dan says, went through it last night, just amazing. Yeah, Dan, there's, like I said, not many words that can explain it. There's one word that we found, and it's ineffable, which the literal definition is it's so amazing that it can't be described in words. So,
hey, Jamie.
Yes, Dan.
So I know where you got that ineffable from, because I studied Dr. David Hawkins 25 years ago. So in some ways, I want to give credit where credit is due, because that's where I first heard that. Yeah. And I've used that before, and I had my soul tested back then and through muscle testing. And I think we're on a group here that's okay with that. So when you hit this scale at 750, that word is called ineffable. Now, Jesus went to 1,000, and I think that scale can probably expand. But that brought me back to when I was actually at Dr. David Hawkins gatherings, got to be 20, 25 years ago in Phoenix. So, and when he first brought that word up, that got my attention like a month and a half ago. And so I just had that experience last night. And the other thing I'd like to know, when we get done with this, I'm trying to get onboarded. You say it's simple to enroll people, but I'm having difficulty with that. So make this simple thing more simple for my earthly mind, please.
Awesome, Dan. Well, I appreciate you bringing up Dr. Hawkins. That was my first exposure to what was possible. So if you're not familiar, Dr. Hawkins wrote the most famous book was Power versus Force. And in that, he described the consciousness scale from 0 all the way to 1,000, as Dan was just mentioning. Now, there's a few interesting points about that, and it does help intellectually understand what we're talking about. So I will share that, and I appreciate bringing it up, Dan. So over 80% of the population is currently at 200 or less out of 1,000. And last time we checked, the average on Earth is 210. And so many of the personal development that I went through was helpful to me. Growing up, most of my life, I was operating from about 125, the level of desire. And that's why I had multiple addictions. And so the personal development, I would go to these seminars, and I'm sure some of you could relate. And I would feel this like high, this rush. And I would make all these decisions that I was going to go back and, really achieve my goals, right? And after about 24, 48 hours, I'd be back at 125. But where a lot of that information is coming from is usually in the high 200s to 300s, the best of the best. So what Dan was just mentioning is that the level over 700, which is the level of enlightenment, 700 to 1,000, very few have been able to embody that.
So my take on this is that when you go through that exercise, what I learned from Dr. Hawkins, that the soul consciousness scale never changes. So I believe, and I don't know, intellectually maybe describing this, but when you hit this I am divinity, that believe is that now the computer of the soul kicks in. Has that been discussed with Don?
Yeah, that's a great piece that we haven't discussed, Dan. What we have experienced is that call it the soul, but the natural state is that over 700. That's our natural state. And most people have experienced at least 1, 2, 3, like a handful of those experiences where they were their true self. One that comes up a lot is, especially for women, giving birth to their first child. That moment, they experience that over 700, that pure consciousness, that state. And so what Dawn is gifted at doing is pulling out, whether you had a few moments in your life, pulling that out and removing the toxic trauma that is like an anchor from your natural pure consciousness down to whatever level. He's able to remove that anchor so that you just naturally are now in your state of pure consciousness. So that moment, like I described, for example, woman giving birth to their first, is now the level that you're living in 24/7, because that is who you truly are without the ego, human, intellectual programs. Yeah, that's definitely a deep discussion for another call. This is an overview for everyone. But Dawn has agreed to do at least once a month events with our community that we're doing here in person in the Philippines, but of course, including the members of our community online and on Zoom. So I'm excited to have you on that, Dan. That's exciting that you went through the recorded version last night. And we will continue to make things more simple. Every day we've been working on things to really simplify, no matter how simple they are to us. we'll keep simplifying so it's anyone can do it. We'll have our onboarding call here in about 50 minutes, so just the top of the hour. And Dan and whoever else needs help just walking you through, we'll be able to do that on the onboarding. So that's a great transition, you know, into what you'll receive from our community with having Don, who's the only person on that I've ever been able to find on Earth that can do what he does. Dr. Hawkins was amazing at creating that base and foundational work. I've been through a lot of his work. He's obviously passed now, but yeah, it's different learning it from an intellectual level, as I did for years from people like Dr. Hawkins, and then actually experiencing the full embodiment of what they're saying. Many of the religions, for example, also have the language and can give you the intellectual understanding. But the only one that I've met that was able to help me have the actual experience, like an actual process to get there, was Don. And that's why we're so close, and that's why he's a major part of this entire community. So I want to bring up Sam here real quick, because he has also had an experience with Don and a different journey than I have. But I encourage you, especially right now, I mean, it's absolutely free to get into the membership. We can only do that for the next couple of weeks. And Don's program historically has not been cheap, put it that way. He's worked with the world's most elite professional sports athletes, multi-billionaires running some of the biggest corporations. So it wasn't too easy having him shift into our community and recently given it all away, but please take the opportunity while it's there. We won't be able to do that much longer. Sam, you want to share with the folk? Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, awesome. Absolutely love, every presentation. I wouldn't even say presentation. It's more of a community discussion and just really just sharing is always different. So it's been awesome to just witness it every single night. And thank you all for being here. As far as Don's process, I mean, personally, I'm not sure who was just sharing, but I had read thousands of books. I was one of those personal development junkies where I was just getting high on books and one book after the other. I thought I really got it. Then would need to continue reading another book and another book and another book to intellectually understand and to keep me on that high. Along with the books and the reading, I did tons of workshops. I've done the Tony Robbins of the industry. I've done the Eric Worre's. I've done the whoever you want to name. I've also done tons of transformational workshops, and I've done tons of leadership workshops and plant medicine, energy work, breath work, got certified on a lot of them, but it still felt like there was something I was missing. It felt like there's like a piece. And kind of how I like to explain it is I'm 30, right? I'm 30 years of age, and I've had 30 years of experience and 30 years of just things that have affected me and 30 years of programming. And, the first, I'm sure a lot of you have heard about this, but, the first 7 years of your life, and even before you're actually on this earth plane, you're being programmed on a subconscious level. Even whenever you're in your mother's womb, everything that your mother's experiencing, everything that she maybe even like the conversations she has with people is actually programming you on a subconscious level. And I want you to imagine your phone or your computer that you're on right now. It's all running based off of a program, right? If you want to change the program, well, you need to go into the operating system and change it. And a lot of the times, the way that these transformational work is that you got to write thousands and thousands and thousands of lines of code, right? You got to change so much. It's like a never-ending cycle of having to reprogram the mind. But with Don's process, the way that it works, it's kind of like a master key where you go to the very root of it and you just change it, and you clear all of that garbage, all of that trauma, everything that's not you. And so my process was extremely powerful because I had gone through a lot through my life, starting at, and I actually traced it all the way back to 3 months of age. That was the first initial trauma. And then throughout life, I've had near-death experiences, tons of abuse, tons of just things that I had gone through. And so literally within, I'd say about an hour and a half to 2 hours, doing that process with Dawn, I literally had an instant transformation. I was actually able to walk away from a toxic marriage, which ultimately led me to a path of complete freedom. And now I'm here. It's just been an amazing journey. I will share a story about someone that I've worked with personally. Her name was Megan. She went through the process herself, and she actually had been dealing with her spine actually was misaligned, and she had been dealing with that pain for 2 years. She also had her hip, which was like constantly like getting out of the socket. And she, after doing the process, she texts me and she's like, I have no clue what the heck just happened, but literally the pain that I had been dealing with for over 2 years is completely gone. And my hip, I don't know why, but it literally just popped back into place. So this, because everything is energy, and the thoughts that you think affect your body, your physical vessel, because you're not the body. You're simply the consciousness behind that's operating the body. Just like you're not your car, right? You get into the car and you drive the car. Well, same thing. You're not the body, but everything that you're experiencing does affect it. And so this process is literally, I mean, I was going to say far and few, but literally it's unique. It's a one of one kind of process that I've never experienced nor heard of. And so if you're on the sidelines, you're like wondering, oh, should I do this? Should I not? I'm honestly at this point, if you've been here for the last 8 days, I don't know what else to tell you. You've heard of the guy that was in a walker and literally started running after this process. You've heard of, I think, Josh's friend that was dealing with schizophrenia and completely healed just like that. So I don't really know what else to say. It's free, right? Don literally used to have people pay him $1 million for a one-on-one session, $125,000 for a group session. So, I mean, it really what it is that you just don't value it if you're not taking the opportunity to step into this new embodiment of yourself. So it's really at this point, it's really more of it's a question that you need to ask yourself. Am I worthy of this? Because that's where this is stemming from. You don't feel like you're worthy, and you're also maybe afraid of your own light, of your own power. Not maybe, right? You are. And there's 4 things that Don says is that you need courage, you need honesty, you need to be open-minded, and you need to have the willingness to go through it. And if you have all of those things, you qualify for this process. So what I suggest and what I encourage you from the depths of my heart, from the depths of my soul, from the depths of who I am, is to go into the back office, go into and log in. You're going to go to portal.incomation.com. If you haven't already signed up, go back to the person that referred you, get their link, sign up, go into the portal, and under a certain section, it's going to say, I am divinity. It's only 3 videos. Go through those videos, take out all distractions, and just be there with yourself, because I'm here to tell you that you're worth it and that you're worthy of it all, and that you just need to take a chance on you. And I promise you, your life will never be the same. So thank you for being here, and I'm going to hand it back to Jamie.
Well,
Jamie, Jamie, my issue is like, I don't know where to find the link in that portal, so I don't know why I'm so confused to
okay,
share it.
and we'll be having our onboarding call to help you out.
All right, thank you.
Help you. Yeah, no problem. So yes, the ego is full of tricks to stop you. And even if you do go through the process, it will do everything it can to hold on, to prevent you from truly stepping into your full pure consciousness. I've seen it time and time again. I mean, if you weren't on the call the other night, I showed a video of my friend Joshua Gabby, who had been in a car accident, paralyzed from the waist down. And just through sheer willpower and persistence, he was able to, through rehab, get onto a walker, even though the doctors told him he wouldn't walk again. So he was hobbling around in this walker, about my age. And it had been 4 years that he had been in the walker with no progress. He went through Don's program just about a year ago. And literally, it was the next day, we have video of him throwing his walker and sprinting on an open field. In fact, if you want to see that video, put a 1 in the chat box and I'll pull it up. If enough of you want to see it, I'll pull up the video. Okay, anyone wants to see it? Just Nua? Richard wants to see it. Patricia, okay. James, okay. All right. Let me show you guys that. Okay. Can you see my screen? Can you see the video? Will, you can see it?
Yes.
4 years. 4 years. How's it going? 4 years in the making. It's not a game. It's not a game. This is not a game. This is how we overcome. Wow.
Wow, I was right. Now, here's the craziest part. The absolute craziest part, and the reason why I wanted to even share Joshua with you. Not too long after, Joshua let the ego come back in. He was actually so attached to being a victim that he didn't want to step into the true power and true knowing of who he really was. And he wanted to hold on to that victim so he didn't have to take any responsibility in his life, so that everyone around him could still treat him like a big baby and do everything for him. He went as far as blocking me on social media, cut communication with Don. He had done a one-on-one with Don. And it's super sad because we're over a year later now, and I see the odd post that he makes. He unblocked me a few months ago. He called me to congratulate me on our baby being born last summer, and didn't mention a word of Don's process or, thank you for helping me run, not walk again, but run. And still to this day, he posts things saying, yeah, every day, every day I get a little stronger in my walker. And all I could do, and I'm sure he hates me for it because he deletes it every time, but I drop the video, I comment the video on his posts. And I say, hey man, it wasn't day by day. Remember, it happened in an instant. But many people are so ingrained in living the illusion that they simply can't handle the truth. And that's why we had 3,000 people come into our community last summer when we were helping them get prop firm accounts that ended up being scam companies. 3,000. As soon as we exposed the prop firms and we gifted this process with Don to the entire community, 90% of them have ran away. That's why there's only 50 of you on this Zoom. We used to have hundreds of people on the Zoom. We were up to 1,000 on some Zooms. So I commend you for your courage if you're still listening and you're still with us, and got people like Dan who have decided to go through that process, even though just in the beginning stages. Just shows you how attached we can be to the ego, and it will not back down lightly. I'm telling you, the ego will come swinging because it knows it dies after you go through this process. Some of you are probably having a very hard time even listening to me right now. You're maybe just tuning out. You maybe went to the bathroom, walked away, maybe put the volume a little lower. I don't know. I'm not saying it's easy, but you know what's harder? Constantly living for the rest of your life in that pain and suffering and that toxic cycle and pattern. I know, because I did it most of my life. And believe me, I had my tough decisions I had to make after going through the process with Don as well. I had a couple major fallouts with Don. We now live near each other in the Philippines, and we traveled the world together the last year and a half or so. But we had two major fallouts where I wouldn't even take his call. I wouldn't respond to him. And I tried to hide from him for weeks at a time. So I know the process, and I know how tough it can be. But I also know how worthwhile it is getting through that. Like I'm a completely new person. Well, I should say I'm completely myself, whereas for my whole life I wasn't. I just saw Giancarlo jump onto the call. Giancarlo, if you're there, man, it's been a while. This wasn't planned or anything, but I'd love to have you come on and share your experience with Don. So in a minute here.
Hey, my friend.
Hey, there he is. Awesome, man. How you doing?
How are you? Amazing.
Yeah.
Ineffable, actually.
Ineffable, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was hearing on Facebook Live and stuff, and then I don't know where I tapped in, and then I received the Zoom link, and I said, yeah, let's join.
Awesome, man. Well, you came at the perfect time. Just to give them a quick background. So when I worked with Don April 2020 and I flew into Canada, I went back to Mexico, and I really pulled as hard as I could to convince Don to come to Mexico and help everyone that we could with his program. And he
and I was the chosen one.
And yeah, and Giancarlo was right after Don came to Mexico. Giancarlo was there, and he invited us into his amazing studio he has down there. And man, for weeks, every single week, we were doing like by donation, like anyone that would show up, and had all these crazy, amazing transformations.
Yep.
But yeah, I didn't have to plan you on. But if you don't mind, just share.
Yeah, absolutely.
Through with
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hello guys to everyone that is here. My name is Giancarlo, and when I first met Don, I was already in a journey as Jamie, as much of you, in a self-development journey, but with no good results actually. I was an alcoholic and a drug addict since I was 13 years old. My family got money, so I had anything to do, but spend it on on idiot and stupid things. So basically, my life was kind of meaningless somehow, even though I had a wife and even though I had a family and even though I had money and a job and stuff. There was like kind of no sense in the real bottom of everything. So I was already in the journey, like meditating every single day and stuff, and trying. And here the important part is the clue word is the trying. I was trying to be a better version of me. I was trying to live a better life, and then suddenly Don came in like just the door, like he just opened the door, like hello, and I was like hello, please come in. And then from from one thing to another, it took me like in that moment he just explained me what was all about this and stuff, and the process and stuff. And he said like, would you be interested? And I said like, well, yes. And he was like, well, yes, when, and I was like, probably. And he was like, nope, probably no. If you're doing this, you're doing it tomorrow. And I was like, okay, well, yes, let's do it. And then he sent me the questionnaire and stuff, and then I had a one-on-one with Don next day. And oh gosh, I can't explain what happened. Like, actually, it was ineffable next day. I had a feeling of selfness, of worthiness, of self love, and it was so intense and so infinite and so expansive that actually the first day I couldn't hold it. Like one of my traumas was that I never felt enough, so I was always looking for others' approval, like my wife's approval, like my mom's approval, like my dad's approval, like every single decision I made, I needed their approval or what they thought, So they were used to that. And actually, when I ended up that first process, I remember that first day actually. It was something I couldn't explain because my wife and my mom said something like, "Oh, just be careful with those spiritual journeys." And then my honest and love answer was, "Shut up!" Like I don't need your approval. I don't need your opinion on this. You know, and actually I was a little rude with them because I was mad in that moment, not mad, but I was like setting a limit, like not anymore. But then that wasn't my real transformation because that was just like taking apart, That's why I stuck to Don and to Jamie, and that's why I am still here. Because the journey just started in that moment. Uh, and then after the time, and then in the next part, which is like kind of the holding your light, then that was the real launch, In that moment, then I said, oh my God, I really love myself. Oh my God, I really love my life. And from that moment to now, I live like just loving myself, I don't really care about a lot of stuff that in the past was important for me. And I say important because that importantness was one of the major things that was lacking my light, or that was holding me down. And then I understand that anything is important but me and my divinity and my life, and the love and the worth that I feel for myself. And then that's where the transformation happened, like in the second time I was with Don, boom, everything happened. I felt the problem was that in the first one I wasn't honest enough. and I was scared to accept that I was or I did abuse of someone. And then the second time I was 100% honest in one of these groups, and I said, okay, I am letting go the abuser, you know. I won't be anymore that abuser. I will stop abusing myself also. And then I just let it go, and then the real shit started happening, you know, since the sales perspective, since the self-love perspective, since my family perspective, my healing and overall health perspective. I haven't been sick for almost 3 years, not even a flu, not anything, like nothing, you know. It's incredible. And then that opened kind of this door to the connection to something that is like the oneness, to like to the universe, to the everything. And one day I was just in my regular daily walking, with my little dog, and then this it came like this punch of air, you know, like, yeah, like the wind punches my face. And then I swear to God, I don't know how many times I stopped it. Just I was just standing with my with my hands and arms open, and just feeling like and understanding what is it all about. And it is all about feeling and loving and being that love, and that and that love worth, you know. And then I don't know. I was in another plane. I wasn't anymore in here, you know. And then a tear ran in my face, and then that pulled me back. And from that moment, I could integrate like both the states, you know. And every single day, well, yeah, every single day actually, I go into this space, into this my divinity space, and then I just live from there, you know. I call it, and I embrace it every single day, like or three times a day, like and I keep going and going and going, and just feeling, because I understood it's my life, and the only one that will live it is me, you know. So I made the decisions to live it the best way. And actually Don and Jamie made that possible for me, 100%. So yeah, that's the summary.
Wow, awesome, Giancarlo. Man, so great to hear you, man. It's been what, like 2 years almost, eh? Around there.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. Well, super excited to see your journey unfold. And man, you got to come out to the Philippines and visit us.
Yeah, sure. I have to.
You do, yeah.
I'll be soon there.
Okay, man, awesome. Well, thanks for
Okay, my
sharing with
friend.
everyone. Really appreciate you, bud.
I will always do it, my friend.
Yeah, let's chat and catch up after the call here.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Okay, awesome. So, New was saying thanks for sharing. That was straight fire. Yeah, there's absolutely no words like to describe. We all attempt to describe this process and this experience, just in the knowing and trust that you will hear something that just sheds enough light that you're willing to have the courage and openness to step into it. It reminds me of the quote by Marianne Williamson. If you pull that up, just so I don't botch it. But she puts it beautifully, and Sam touched on it earlier, which is the literal phobia to your light. And going back to, as I was saying, many people ran away from our community as we really started shining the light bright. And it's because of that intense fear. And the ego has you so wrapped up that it has you believe you're going to die if you go into your light. But the truth is, it's going to die if you go into your light, with this, who you truly are, that pure consciousness, that light. You're like the electricity And as Sam opened up earlier with, is you're not these bodies. And I challenged him when he first came here. This is an interesting, I wasn't even planning on, like everything else, not planning on sharing it, but we were swimming in the ocean, Sam and I, just having a chat. Will just dropped the quote here, so thank you, Will. So Marianne Williamson, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. That's it. So Sam and I were in the ocean, and this was what, day 2 you were here? And it had been about a year that he started his process, that he connected with Dawn over Zoom. And like he said, he was certified in a lot of different modalities and all of that. And he even started intuitively helping people with the process that he went through with Dawn. And actually, Giancarlo has been doing the same, which is amazing. But when he showed up, I could tell, and I called him on it. What did I say? I said something to the tune of, you're still have an intellectual understanding of it, right? And so we're in the ocean, and we're fire hosing tonight. Okay. So we're in the ocean, and Sam says something to the tune of, yeah, but we're humans, and we're at least having this human experience. And I said, Sam, I don't identify as human. And it stopped him in his tracks. And he looked at me like, what is this guy saying? And so he Tiffany says alien. Yeah, it was funny. And so I said, well, we're pure consciousness. Like, you don't, as he said, I use that analogy of the vehicle. When you get into a vehicle, when you get into a car, you don't think you are the car. And so the body's no different. So what makes you human, Sam? Why are you saying you're human? Because this is a human body? But that's not who you are. And then I said, what is God? And he thought for a second and looked at me and said, well, it's God is pure consciousness. And I said, and what are you? And he said, pure consciousness. And I saw the shift in him, and he was at a loss for words. And he looked at me and just kept saying, I'm digesting, I'm digesting, I'm digesting. All the way until we went out of the ocean, upstairs at the resort to have dinner, surrounded at the dinner table. And boom, it hit him. Like, just boom. And he looks at me, he goes, I am God. And I definitely didn't plan on sharing that tonight on a live stream to 10 different platforms. But hey, since when have we held back the truth? Some of you are going to hear that and might maybe call blasphemy. But that's, as you know us, as you can feel us, that's not where we're not coming from this egotistical place. We're coming from this God energy is in everything, everyone, and that's what we are. We are God. And it's only that ego, human program of separateness that has convinced you that you're just one of the pieces. And that's what justifies all of those selfish decisions to just take care of yourself and your own family. Meanwhile, you are God, connected to everyone and everything. And any harmful action you take to gain for yourself is not you, it's the ego.
Can I bring this back to business?
Thanks, Dan. Yeah, we'll help you on board so you
No,
can.
but no, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that the word which all of us have done that has succeeded is we self-sabotage. So after entering this zone, has that gone away? The question.
So your question is, after you experience this zone, is there ways to sabotage?
No. What I'm saying is that I believe that that once we hit a space in we can't handle it, then we self-sabotage. But when you go through this journey, does that disappear? That's the question.
Did you catch that? Yeah, free will, Dan.
Well, I'm trying to form this in a question because in the Bible, everything was a question.
Fair. So what comes
Has
to me,
this journey, I think I know the answer, but has this journey through this process stopped the self-sabotage?
I can contribute a little with that question.
Thank you.
And I might say self-sabotage is a consequence of living in mind and ego, right? Because you don't see a tree self-sabotaging itself, right? You don't see a star self-sabotaging itself, or any other creature or living thing or whatever that exists self-sabotaging itself. So the self-sabotage is a consequence of living in an identity that it's called ego or that it's called mind, right? So as deeper as you go, and as conscious you make the unconscious part, self-sabotage should, and not only should, but it disappears, because it is like I don't know, you can feel like Superman, right? But there is like a consciousness surrounding you feeling Superman. And even though you're Superman, if there is no need to do it, you will never do or place a step in front of a truck that is coming 100 miles per hour, right? Like there is no need to do that. Like, why would you do that? If you try to do that just to test your superhuman power, or your Superman power, then that's ego, and then that's the mind, and then it's that same identity, the one that will self-sabotage you and probably will kill you, right? But as soon as you don't really need to prove that to anyone or to anything, then the self-sabotaging will never be part of your experience. Just like trees.
well
Just
said.
like trees being a tree, then you will be just you.
Yes. Nailed it, brother. Thank you for your help. I had to bring
Yes, and just
Perfect.
just to finish up, because I have to run to a meeting, but I wanted to contribute a little with the God story, and the best understanding that I could have to by others with this being God is like the story of Romeo and Julieta, from Shakespeare. You know that book? Okay, and then like Romeo is one person and one identity, and Julieta is the other one, but both of them are Shakespeare, right? And Shakespeare is also both of them. So like there is no separation, rather the same story that is telling the identities, and the one that is defining it. So it's just like that. God is like that to us, and we are like that to God. Like there is no separation. Like we are an expression of the same of God, and God being a consciousness, not a being, right? So because in this example in the book, Shakespeare never appears, right? Like Like there is no part like, oh, and the writer is saying like, no, the writer doesn't exist. Shakespeare is just the one that is creating all the story and its stuff, and it's the same person, and it's the same identities and the same persons and the same places and the same books and the same words, and everything is Shakespeare in that story. So it's the same for us. That's why I say also that I am God.
Like my ego might say, I wish I should have thought of that.
Sorry, how is that? Can you repeat
I said my ego just said, I wish I would have thought of that.
it? In this case, from my perspective, as soon as you keep saying my ego, there is still an attachment, an identity of you being the owner of the ego, and the ego being something to possess. So, I mean, I will start just kicking the word my, and turning it to the ego or something like that, not yours.
Thank you.
So much, Giancarlo. Appreciate you, brother.
My pleasure.
Excited to
I love
connect,
you all,
man.
guys.
It's been a great been a great live reunion. Have a great meeting, man. I'll reach out to you. I see Nua. Looks like you're in the Philippines. That background. You here yet?
Almost, brother. Almost.
Man, I'm excited to have you here with us. So you just straight up told your family, like, I'm going to Philippines one way and I don't know when I'm coming back, but I have a feeling I won't want to leave. Is that basically how that conversation went?
That's pretty much how it went. And they were like, what the, because I was like, look, if I have to, just hearing these all and Jamie's known this is like the eighth or ninth one, and I've been on like seven of them, of these calls, because I thought that you could just come to one and you'll get everything. But I'll tell you what, for the people that just sit here for the first time, I've been on almost every single Zoom call, and I kid you not, every single time I'm learning. So I've got now 20 pages of notes. I learned something new every single Zoom call. So it's not just a one and done. It's not just come to the one Zoom and then, okay, that's all the information. No, 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 no. You have to come every single time, because Jamie is dropping gems left and right. Now, he just had John Carlo on here. Wow, what an awesome testimony. And this is a guy that took it how many years ago? And he's still connected, and he's still with this consciousness. I mean, it's just, I look forward every morning, 8 a.m. And it's that I'm not a morning person, but because of Incomation, I'm excited to wake up early, because I'm like, I don't care what I have to do, I will do it. I will make that sacrifice. And it's funny because Jamie hit it on the money. I told my family, hey, I'm gonna go to the Philippines. Well, when are you coming back? I don't know. And they're like, the hell, what do you mean you don't know? You go across the world and what are you talking about? I'm like, well, I've been gifted, so I've been blessed. And I just said, don't book my ticket back. That was a hard conversation, you're trying to explain that to your wife and five kid, I'm just kind of like, um, I'm gonna go see what's going on, and I don't want them to have me coming back in 3 or 4 days, because I might stay longer. I don't know. So, yeah, imagine that, Ken. So I'm just trying to get things situated here, and like, but I'm like, if I had it my way, I would be there like right now. I'd be driving to the airport right if it was my. But unfortunately, I have to have other people's feelings, and and that's why I love what Sam shares. He was like, I was in this marriage, and thank you, Sam, for being so transparent, because I'm just kind of like, that's a sense of freedom sometimes. I'm like, I used to just get up and go and do whatever I want, but unfortunately, I don't. So I have to be mindful of other people. But I would leave right now in a second. I told Jamie this, how many Zooms go? Dude, I'd leave tomorrow. But we have to be men, we have to be responsible. I'm like, frick that. I want this consciousness right now. I want Dawn to say, frick you, Nua, you're coming now, and you're freaking on that plane. Blah, 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 kind of need that sometimes. You kind of need that fire underneath your ass to be like to get up and do the things that you know you should do, but for whatever reason, the ego, the fear, whatever, the oh my gosh, I gotta worry about this. I love it when Jamie does that. I'm like, dude, he's talking straight to me, like. So thank you, Jamie. I will see you soon. I put a time limit on this to like get everything done because I'm like, "Ugh, I want to be out there in the Philippines already." So thank you very much and thanks. And people that come in for the first time, don't just come once. You have to come multiple times. You have to work on what you seek. I've been seeking this for 47 years. I'm in it to win it. I don't, once you know, because you don't know what you don't know until someone comes and slap you across the face and say, hey, this is it. You either take it or you're going to miss the opportunity of a lifetime. That's my time, ladies and gentlemen. I love you. I have to go to a doctor's appointment. I love you, Jamie, Sam, Josh, Don, Yako. These guys are the sauces, and there's how many sauces in one platform? How many platforms do you go and have multiple sauces to dip from? Like, what the hell? It's like Baskin Robbins, like 31 flavors right here in front of you. My goodness. What else do they have to do? They're going to shut this down February 1st. I'm having a Zoom call with about 15 of my closest friends that want in. But they don't even have no idea what it is because when you surround yourself with friends that trust you and just sign up, like I just keep telling them, shut up and sign up. I'll tell you later. And they're like, okay, well, I'll sign up. So finally, I'm doing a Zoom call with them today, and then I'm going to bring them all on Zoom calls to jump on this one with Jamie. So people, get in. Don't waste time. I've been sitting on the sidelines for a full year watching Jamie go through the mud. But guess what he did? He came out of his mud, dusted himself off, 10 toes down, and said, let's go. And he's here for us. After losing his child, I get so emotional when I say this. After losing his child, he was back on Zoom calls in the fourth day. What more of a leader do you need than that? I even told him, I go, I love my kids so much. If I were to lose my kid, any of my kids, it would be so drastic. He was back on the fourth day on Zoom calls. Not because he had to, because he wanted to. My goodness. What more of a leader do I need to lock hips with? Like when I'm there, I'm gonna follow him to his room. I'm not gonna let him out of my sight because I want to soak up. And I don't mean that in like a scary way. I'm not a psychopath or I'm not gonna but I say this to say once you know things you know, and when you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, you will sacrifice what you know you need to sacrifice in order to get what you want. And I don't mean that to be scary, Jamie. Please don't cancel my ticket because I said I'm gonna follow you to your. But I'm not gonna let him out of my sight. I'm not there to waste time. I'm there to soak up everything that he shared through hours and hours and hours, weeks and months of Zoom calls. Like, if you guys can't feel this, I don't know what else you need to feel. Like you need to be slapped across the face to wake up. Like I've been slapped by the inclination hand, like boom, wake up. Do you see it or what? Like, how many more do I need to tell you? How many more Zooms do you need to be? So I'm already sold. Because I have a family, I have to be mindful. But it's like, that movie where the guy's about to get slayed and he goes, I forgot his name, and he screams out, you have one word to say. Do you give up? And he's like, no, freedom. That's me, Braveheart. That's me. Like I've been screaming for this. Now it's in front of me. The next question is, what are you going to do about it? So I'm taking action. I will see you soon, Jamie. I love you. I love you, Incomation family. Sorry to take up so much time. And I'm going to be late to my doctor's appointment, but I don't give a damn because I needed to be here. I love you all. Thank you.
My man, Nua. Oh, I love it, dude. So appreciate you. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you won't need that. You might be able to cancel that appointment real quick there, bud. Nua hit me up. He said, "All right, man, I'm researching hotels. Like, like where do you recommend maybe, or like I don't know what I'm doing here." I said, "Nua, just get on that plane, man. We'll take care of you. We'll we'll get a condo or something for the month and take it from there. So I'm looking forward to seeing you, man. And that's exactly how I felt when I met Don. Was just like, man, I'm not letting this guy out of my sight. Like he's got the one thing on earth that I've unconsciously and consciously been looking for, for my whole life. Like, where else am I gonna go? Like, seriously, where am I gonna go? Like, go back and see my family and get abused again? Like, come on, or go to all these programs and companies that just want to suck me dry from all my resources and energy and then give me the boot or what, like, whatever. Like, where are you gonna go? So you're welcome to be here, man. I'm excited for you to be here. The mission is huge, as you know, and we need big, huge hearts like you. As much as you can contribute, we're here to support that. So I'm excited, man. So, well, now that many of you have intellectually understood that you are God, I'm excited for you to actually experience it. Yeah, it's funny because Don and I incorporated the company as a nonprofit in Canada back when I told him, like, you got to come to Mexico, we got to do this. And at the time he was operating as I Am Energy. And after we hung out and did a little back and forth, we landed on I Am Divinity. I Am Divinity, one word, trademark. And we were shocked that I was, at least, I don't know if Don was, but when the government of Canada approved the name I Am Divinity, and here we are getting bank accounts from banks, and no one ever even saw like no one ever questioned it. And we're basically saying I am God in just a nice, lighter way. So funny enough. So there you go. Now you know the whole truth. Nothing but the truth, so help me. We're going to do the onboarding now for those of you that are trying to get into the portal. Or maybe you've been waiting for us to shut up about Don's program and you just want to get your piggy bank and put it into Forex fund and maybe make 100% for the year and the crypto coins, and we'll help you do that too. I hope you don't stop there, but hey, we'll help you do that. So Will will be taking over here. We just had a few other teammates show up. They just moved from another city. Yeah, we're recruiting an army, man, army of light, because the ego for damn sure has a huge army. So we need all the help we can get in the light. Anyway, drop the Zoom link. Will, can you drop the onboarding, please, for them? For those that are still crazy enough to hang out with us. Hey, buddy, how you doing? Welcome to Davao. And then, Will, if you can open up that, or I'll bring you up here. Okay, so we'll see you on the onboarding. Thanks for being with us. Forex fund, crypto fund, Don's process, I Am Divinity, what you actually need. And see you on the inside. Link is dropped below. Okay, we'll see you.